We have 5 groups tonight: Catalyte, Giraffe, and that is the order in which they will be presenting. And our first presentation, our first pitch, is from Catalyte. So, at Catalyte, the goal is to make safe drinking water accessible for all. To achieve this goal, Catalyte is developing an affordable, durable, and reusable point-of-use water treatment unit. Now, this is actually a video pitch, and I have been asked to read the following apologetic explanation for that. I'm quoting here from the Catalyte team. We are sorry we could not attend in person. We wish we could have been at this event, but we were required to be in London all week. Required to be in London all week, where we are representing Waterloo at the global finals for the World's Challenge, which is a social venture competition centered on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And so with that, Catalyte.
This is Madeline. She is 7 years old. She lives in a small mountainside community just outside of Cap Haitian, and each day her family struggles to afford safe drinking water. We met Madeline when we traveled to Haiti to learn more about the challenges of accessing safe drinking water in developing communities. Madeline is one of 2.1 billion people globally who still do not have access to safely drinking water. These 2.1 billion people are at constant risk of contracting deadly waterborne diseases, which are responsible for more than 3.4 million deaths each year. This is a problem that is at once both global and overwhelming, but also intensely personal and local. At Catalyte, our goal is to make safe drinking water accessible for all. To reach this goal, we are developing an effective and low-cost point-of-use water treatment unit that leverages innovative and disruptive technology. Our unit consists of a durable 4-liter bottle, a removable strainer, and a small package of our reusable water treatment beads. This is a simple solution, but the impact it can have is global. To explain how our technology works, here's Kevin, a chemical engineer who has been working with this technology for the past year.
Thanks, Ashley. Let's go over in simple terms how the technology works. First, water is collected in the bottle with the beads inside. It's then left in the sun for just 15 minutes. Our beads are coated in titanium dioxide, a non-toxic material which is capable of harnessing energy from the sun in the form of UV light to create contamination. This treatment removes the risk of contracting deadly waterborne diseases. The strainer is then used to separate the beads for later use, and the result is safe drinking water. Now, there are 3 reasons why Catalyte is disruptive. First, our product is much more affordable than currently available solutions. While competitors cost between $4 and $12 to treat 1,000 liters of water, we estimate that the Catalyte unit will cost less than $1.50 to treat the same amount. Second, our product is durable and easy to maintain. It doesn't require any complex parts such as solar panels, batteries, or membranes, which are easily damaged and difficult to replace. Consisting of only a bottle, strainer, and beads, the Catalyte unit is simple and effective. And third, our product is reusable. The beads can be reused for up to 10 years, and there is research indicating that this lifespan can be greatly extended. And now, to talk about our distribution and timeline, here's Vishal, a successful social entrepreneur who has experience running a social venture that improves women's health in developing communities in India.
Thanks, Kevin. At Catalyte, we are creating a sustainable business model that can be scaled to the global level. As a for-profit social enterprise, we will reach our product to users through 2 channels. First, we will sell our product to not-for-profits who are on the ground in developing communities. These not-for-profit organizations have been mandated to help increase access to safe drinking water, to budget for our product, and establish networks on the ground to help distribute our products to users. Second, we will partner with local municipal bodies to support initiatives to increase access to safe drinking water. What allows us to leverage these channels more effectively than our competitors is our cost. With a drastically lower cost, Catalyte is able to create a greater return on investment for our partners. This is a proven business model that I have successfully implemented before in India, one which we can replicate and scale globally. We know that our partners who are working on the ground in developing communities are an essential part of our success. We have currently partnered with Live Different, an international charity that works in Haiti, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. We will continue to add partners and leverage pre-existing connections as we scale. So when could this happen? We have done testing in the lab to show the proof of concept. By June 2019, we will have secured the necessary funding and resources and have built a prototype. In July 2019, we will begin testing and optimizing. And by December 2019, we will return to 80.
Introduced to two of our team members, Kevin, a chemical engineer who knows how to... I'm Ashley. I have a PhD in ethics and cognition, which will help us not only to understand our users, but also to help ensure that Catalyte runs in a morally and socially responsible way. We started Catalyte with the goal of developing an effective point-of-use water treatment unit for people in developing communities. We have a global goal. But when we traveled to Haiti and met people like Medlen, this goal suddenly became deeply personal as well. At Catalyte, we believe that by harnessing the power of the sun, we will have the power to positively impact the lives of millions of people, just like Medlen. Thank you.
Impressive. However, there are many impressive teams here this evening. And the next impressive team is Giraffe. Jingyi, Nicole, and Cece. Where are you folks? Come on down. Please welcome them to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cece. Oh, this is very important. My name is Cece. I'm the founder of Giraffe. And just a disclaimer, if I mess up, blame it on the alcohol. So today we'll be presenting Giraffe. So the problem we're trying to target is very simple. So when you open an annual report of any public company, you will find a section dedicated to diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion is measured based on key four matrix under the Human Rights Act, and these are gender, age, ethnicity, and disability. Most of the companies are doing fairly well in the first three metrics, but they're really behind in terms of disability hiring. So the goal is to have 15% representation in the workforce represented by people with disabilities, but currently they're only at 6%. So companies are actually struggling to find people who are qualified without compromising workforce productivity. On the other hand, people with disabilities cannot find jobs that they like. To better help us understand the problem, we went to a dozen of disability community, and we found that 87% of the 89 respondents that we spoke to are not given the opportunity to develop a career with their current employer, and also 70% of them said that their skills are not utilized at all at their workforce. So you have companies on one hand that are looking for people to fill up their jobs, and also you have people who are disabled looking for a suitable job. So here at Giraffe, we call that problem talent mismatch. So what exactly does Giraffe do to help solve that problem? So first, we assess and evaluate. Our pre-employment assessment tool is very unique in that we work closely with disability experts to come up with a comprehensive scientifically proven assessment tool that incorporates cognitive ability, personality, communication, situational behavior, and many, many more. We also remove barriers for people with disabilities. So we provide them functions on our website to help them remove the barriers. So you will see we have things like text-to-speech, visual ASL interpreter, and etc. And lastly, we manage workforce diversity for our clients. Because we do know people with disabilities better than our clients, we're able to provide them expert consulting service, which will give them post-employment support to help new hires adapt, learn, and develop. So I'm actually going to show you a quick demo of how this works. So a candidate will receive an email invitation from the employer through a link. Once they click the link, it will take them to this page. Here they will be able to choose the type of disability they have. And in this case, if I'm deaf, I'll choose services such as speech-to-text. Thank you very much, Mark. And virtual ASL interpreter. And when that happens, you are ready, you can click on Start Test, and this will actually take you to the actual test. This is just an example of one of the questions we asked under the situational behavior section. So you can see that all of our questions are using both text and video to help candidates better understand the problem, the situation. And we also have an ASL, or American Sign Language interpreter, on the side. At the end of this, we will have a short conversation between the candidate and the disability expert to help evaluate the candidate capture some of the true talents that were not captured from the computer assessment. So we target public companies and franchise business in Canada. Those companies typically have CSR strategy integrated into their business. They have workforce diversity and inclusion goals to reach. They have equal employment opportunities to offer, as well as a strong social marketing presence in the media. This is our market size. $1.28 billion represents the amount of money employers spend on disability hiring on an annual basis. But this number is expected to grow significantly in 2025, thanks to a groundbreaking legislation led by AODA, which says all Canadian companies must remove barriers and provide accommodations to make it easy for people with disability to enter the workforce. So this is our pricing strategy. We do have a tier pricing system. We charge our customers based on the number of tests we perform, starting with the cheapest plan, which is $1,000 per 10 tests. And this is our sales projection. In 2019, we will acquire 33 key customers to give us a revenue at $180,000. By 2023, we will be making a revenue of $1.8 million. This is a timeline for Giraffe. Giraffe started in November 2017 with 3 brilliant-minded We all have a common goal, which is to help people with disabilities develop sustainable careers. We spent a couple months trying to validate the problem as well as the solution to make sure that the problem we're solving is worth solving and the solution is actually something that our clients want. In March 2018, we competed in Halifax for a Canadian business model competition. In April of 2018, we actually took our proof of concept to 36 potential customers, and we received a great amount of interest from our customers. 2 of them actually said, we're gonna cut you a check after you bring the product to us. So now we're at our prototype stage. We're working very hard to come up with something that's very effective so we can prove to our customers that we can actually solve their problems. And this is Giraffe. Okay. Thank you very much.
Very, very neat, and it's an important market to be sure. So we're going to take the first one of our very brief what's happening at Conrad interludes here. And what I'd like to do is just take a moment to recognize the faculty and staff of Conrad who made the trip here tonight to be a part of this event. So I can see David Rose, our Associate Director, you can hold your applause to the end, there are a few of them. We've also got, of course, our fantastic marketing staff, Jason and Pamela, who have made this event possible. Please join us. Totally hold your applause, I apologize. Oh, and Jacob, where's Jacob? Didn't see Jacob. There he is, excellent. Jacob, co-op student at the University of Waterloo and an increasingly important part of our team. Thank you, Jacob. Problem is you're going to leave us again. That's the way this works, I know. We also, of course, have Tracy Wilkinson. Tracy, our administrative officer. I know I'm determined not to acknowledge, now you don't know what to do. Let's not acknowledge, we'll do it at the end. We have Mark Hurwitz, our Associate Director of Undergraduate Programs. All right, clap for everybody, they deserve it, okay. We also have Rupa Reddy, who has been with us for the past year on a contract and has just been hired as our new lecturer responsible both for our online course and also our social enterprise work. So Rupa, congratulations. By the way, I'm just going to pause and say, it is really significant that these faculty members and these staff have made the trip here. I cannot tell you, I have worked in so many different universities, and I would be hard-pressed to name a single one of them where you could count on this kind of turnout from the people who work in the program. So I admire all of my colleagues so much. Thank you. We also have, in fact, technically speaking, not yet a faculty member, but in about 3 weeks, Janet Bluekhorst is going to be joining us, teaching in leadership, human resources, organizational behavior kinds of topics. Janet, welcome. She comes to us. I feel like I missed somebody?
Harvey.
Where's from here? Right here.
I'm used to it, Mark.
So that's just a remarkable turnout. Thank you all for coming, and again, please join me in thanking them. End of interlude number 1. I apologize, I saw you guys feeling stressed, so I thought I would draw that out just a little bit longer. So our next team is from Platable. Team members include Joel, Sarika, Ryan, and Robbie. This is a combination of MVets and undergrads, which I love because that represents, I think, one of the exciting futures of Conrad, so that's very cool. Brief description. Platable is a fully integrated digital approach to the next generation full-service restaurant experience. Imagine what that could be. Platable allows restaurants to entice guests and extend their experience beyond the physical space, while giving guests a platform to enter, engage with, and exit the restaurant in a seamless and modern fashion. The floor is yours.
All right, so I'm going to try to explain what all of those words were. All right, so as Mark was saying, my name is Joel and this is Sarika, and we are Platable, and that diagram is a little off, but that's okay. So full-service restaurants face a problem, like many other industries. The problem is that they failed to adapt to consumer habits. Consumers have obviously changed a lot over the years. They're much more focused on digital concepts. But the important thing to note is that this change in digital habits and purchasing habits has really affected full services share of the food services market here in Canada. The classic expectations of table service, as they once were, no longer exist. They're changing rapidly. And this is, very evident. 31% of guests now want to pay for their meal at a full-service restaurant with their smartphone, and 40% of guests would prefer to order online. The way that this plays out in the market, or has played out in the market over the last 10 years, is that full-service restaurants have lost 8% of the food services market in Canada, which represents $8.2 billion in revenue that full-service restaurants no longer have. And that's why we've invented Platable. So Platable is the fully integrated digital approach to the next generation full-service experience. Unlike some of our other competitors or other players in this industry, other solutions have taken some of these interactions and focused solely on different aspects of the interactions that guests have with a restaurant. What we've done is we've basically taken a look at every single one of those interactions and allowed restaurants to both entice guests and extend their experience outside of the four walls of the actual restaurant, and allowed guests to enter, engage, and exit the restaurant in a seamless and modern fashion. So imagine this experience. You're trying to decide where to dine. And so you log onto Platable and you get a curated list of different restaurants in your local neighborhood. Each of these restaurants has a menu that you can scroll through, and also has reviews from people that have actually eaten at the places you're looking at. Now, once you've decided where you actually want to eat, you arrive at the restaurant, and the host or hostess seats you at your table, and using a QR code, you actually log into that table. Now, what you're prompted with is a digital menu, and the Platable essentially takes your previous orders, as well as any sort of manually inputted dining preferences, and curates a list of recommendations that recommended food items that you might actually want to eat at that restaurant. So allowing you to properly, allowing you to choose an item that you would actually want to eat and avoid orderer's regret. The server then comes by and makes sure that you're using the platform okay, that you have checked in okay, and that and it can answer any questions that you might actually have about the restaurant or the menu itself, and gives you the confidence to sort of order your meal when you're ready. Once you've ordered your meal and you've had your food and you've taken your time, you actually can pay through the platform as well, just by simply tapping the pay button. If you had to like split a bill, if you had to split particular items in that bill with different people in your party, that can all be done straight through the platform. After you've actually paid your bill, Playtable will prompt you to give some feedback, so that that feedback will actually lead back into other people, allowing them to sort of get more information about the restaurant experience, and allowing them to make better choices about where they want to dine.
Our initial target market consists of 43,800 restaurants across Canada. After Canada, we plan to address the United States market, which consists of over 300,000 casual full-service restaurants. Our revenue model consists of a monthly subscription fee of $499 a month, plus a 7% transaction fee charged to the restaurants. By January 2020, our goal is to have 340 fully paying restaurants onboarded to our platform, and after factoring in our cost of goods sold, this will leave us with a monthly recurring revenue of over $700,000 a month. Currently, as we speak, our platform, or our initial proof of concept is being tested at Abe Herb, which is a casual full-service restaurant in Kitchener, right next to Communitech, and we have secured our second pilot location at Beertown in Cambridge, Ontario, which is part of the well-known Charcoal group of restaurants. Our team consists of myself, a candidate for the NVET program here at the University of Waterloo, and I also have 10 years of experience in the restaurant industry itself, working as a server, bartender, and manager. Joel, my colleague in the program, is an IT solutions sales professional with extensive experience in large-scale integration projects, or technology integration projects, and our tech team is Robbie and Ryan. Robbie is currently working as a senior product manager over at Top Hat, and Ryan is a upper year comp sci student at the University of Waterloo who recently just completed his co-op term at Google. Our ask today is to vote for us so that we can use this $1,500 to continue testing the development side of our platform, as well as to purchase the hardware requirements needed to onboard more restaurants, and more importantly, to allow restaurants to meet your needs so that Playtable can provide you with a fuller service experience. Thank you.
I like a clear ask. That was very good. Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't clear, but then it said ask, so that was very helpful. So our next group is Sound Booth. That would be Kenneth and Samir. Sound Booth is a mobile platform that acts as a centralized hub for music venues and DJs to connect and collaborate on all their scheduling and sound equipment needs for their events. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Ken, that's Samir, and we are the co-founders of Sound Booth. So I'm a professional DJ, and I perform at over 100 events per year. The biggest problem that I face, and the millions of performers worldwide, is miscommunication. So for example, I was once asked to perform at an event with two other performers that I had never met before. I decided to perform first, and I fully expected to leave after my performance. However, the other performers assumed that there'd be equipment there, and that was an issue. So instead of leaving, I had work the next morning, I had to stay for the whole night, knowing full well, first that I had work, and if I would leave, there'd be no music. Issues like this happen all the time. There are many reasons for this, but the reason really boils down to the fact that traditional ways of communicating lacks context. Every event requires a different setup, and there are a lot of moving parts. Our solution is a centralized hub for the music industry to connect and collaborate while drastically improving their coordination and their communication. Sound Booth aggregates this fragmented workflow into one place with features such as interactive scheduling, equipment inventories, and contextual messaging. So the benefits for both users are really apparent. On the venue side, they have access to a pool of professional DJs. On the professional DJ sides, Soundbooth enhances their visibility to new venues, which creates new opportunities. So Soundbooth is a mobile platform, and this is what it looks like. In the first screenshot, we see a user's profile, which contains their bio, the list of the equipment they perform with, their calendars, and also their social feed. In the next screenshot, a DJ reaches out to, a music venue reaches out to a DJ, asking if they're available to perform at an event. Within that message, there's a booking request, and once that booking request is accessed, they have all of the relevant information available to them, and they can easily accept or decline it. For ease of mind, they can also look at the venue's list of equipment, where they can view ratings and reviews from past performers. So Soundbooth lives at the intersection of three markets: communication, scheduling, and discovery. The communication and scheduling markets are heavily dominated by traditional consumer methods, such as email, text, and traditional calendars, both online and offline. In the discovery market, we have competitors who are focused more on managing bookings and discovery. Our competitive advantage is the fact that we are at the intersection of these three markets, and it's all found in one tool.
So there are over 70,000 music venues in North America. This includes nightclubs, lounges, bars, and other venues where some form of live musical events take place on a regular basis. Our research shows that this market, just in North America, is worth $420 million. And we plan to start in Canada and right here in Ontario specifically. So our business model is really simple. For the music venues, we charge them $20 a month as a subscription fee. This gives them full access to our platform. For performers such as DJs, it's currently free, but we plan on experimenting with paid features later on to monetize on them. A secondary source of revenue for us is we actually promote sponsored pieces of equipment from certain big manufacturers that we've secured sponsorships with. In order to grow the marketplace and acquire customers on both sides of the market, here's our plan. So for venues, we plan on sending out targeted offers via direct mail, performing in-person pilots through the local DJ network, and attending industry trade shows to enhance our presence in the industry. For performers, we plan on investing heavily in digital acquisition and SEO, in addition to leveraging our personal networks. So our team comes from a diverse set of backgrounds in music, design, and technology. So Ken is a professional DJ and an industrial designer. I come from several years of startup experience in Silicon Valley. I ran sales and marketing for a company that was acquired by Amazon last year. And Tyler is our technical lead. He's actually the full stack developer for the Hyperloop team at the University of Waterloo. Here are some of the projections we've laid out over the next 3 years. This is based on a model we've built out to forecast demand as well as our unit economics. As you can see, by the end of year 3, we plan on having 1,000 paying venues as customers, in addition to a growing network of performers. So far, we've actually established we secured 2 pilots with major venues right here in Ontario. So District Nightclub in Kitchener-Waterloo and Cactus Club Cafe right here in downtown Toronto have both signed on to be our first pilot testers, and we plan on completing these pilot tests with them later this summer. They've both expressed great interest in becoming our early adopters and first customers. Other milestones for us this summer include completing our MVP, building out our engineering team, and soft launching in Canada later this year. We are Soundbooth. Thank you for your time.
So the final What's Happening at Conrad interlude. We've got a number of alumni here, so I'm just going to quickly tell you a little bit about how Conrad has changed, along with a new name that we're carrying into the future. Some of you are looking at one alumnus here who left in 2010. Well, if you were around Conrad prior to 2010, then you should know that we've gone from having about 5 full-time faculty to having 12 full-time faculty. When you left the University of Waterloo, Conrad touched about 75 students a year in total, and today we touch about 1,300 to 1,400 students. Our undergraduate student involvement is growing at a compound rate of about 12 to 15%, We expect that to continue on into the future. We now not only offer the full-time MBET program, which is on a growth trajectory, we also offer a part-time MBET program, Tell Your Working Friends, which has been launched with great success. We also have an option in entrepreneurship that every engineering student can take. We have a minor in entrepreneurship that any student in any faculty in any program at the University of Waterloo, regrettably except architecture because they don't give them any electives, everybody else can take that program. And on top of all of that, we also have about 13 or 14 currently offered or on the books undergraduate electives in everything from customer experience design. We're looking at management consulting going forward as one of our courses. It's an exciting place to be. There's a sense of momentum, and I hope that all of you, no matter what your association with Conrad, feel a sense of pride in that association. I sure do. So, our final group, WellPoints, previously known as the Health Aisle, so that you're not confused in case you were following the Health Aisle before. WellPoints. WellPoints is Aaliyah and Ahmed, and WellPoints is a platform connecting patients and pharmacists. The main functions of the platform will allow pharmacists to send individualized monitoring plans to each patient to follow up in real time. This can be used for chronic disease management monitoring or drug side effects, and can also be used to prepare care plans. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Thanks for that mouthful, Mark. I'll explain it better. I actually sent him that, so. All right, so my name's Aaliyah. I'm the founder and CEO of WellPoints. When I started working as a pharmacist back in 2011, the landscape was changing. So dispensing no longer became as profitable. And for the first time, pharmacists could bill for clinical services. So these include care plans, diabetes reviews, prescribing, and even adapting prescriptions. And you all are looking at me blankly, and yes, pharmacists can do this, and this is part of the problem. Okay, so just to give you guys a bigger overview. So due to increasing healthcare costs that we all know of, the government has reduced generic drug prices. And this has negatively impacted the pharmacist's bottom line, which has actually made it necessary for them to change their way of practicing. And as we all know, change can be difficult, but this is the first time pharmacists are able to truly show their value, perform care services that impact patients' health, have a better connection with patients, and actually bill for these types of services. But they're not used, and this is why. Pharmacists do not have the right tools to transition their way of practicing and focus on providing these clinical services. So, through our research, we were able to narrow down the 4 main pain points that face pharmacists today. So, the loyalty, retaining customers is a major issue. Marketing and advertising these services, because nobody knows about them, as we just tested. Streamlining these workflows to facilitate more time providing these billable opportunities, and ensuring continuity of care between care providers. Okay, so our solution is a standalone platform that easily integrates into pharmacists' workflow. This connects directly to a patient through an app, and pharmacists can onboard these patients really easily when they want to connect. So, I'll walk you through a brief example of one component of our platform. So, for example, if I want to monitor a patient's blood sugar level, I can directly send this to a patient, my lovely patient Tony Stark, who would not want to know what his sugar levels are. And I can customize this plan to what I want to see. So if I want to measure his sugar levels over a period of 2 weeks, and I want him to test his sugars twice a day and enter it into this app, he will get reminders directly on his phone to enter these values that we can both see. So this type of platform provides this ongoing communication. So there's more interaction between patients and pharmacists, increasing patient engagement and building this patient loyalty. Patients are able to see services pharmacists offer, book these services, Pharmacists are able to notify patients directly of events, services, any kind of advertising, if they have 20% off on their vitamins. You can directly know what's happening, so there's increased marketing and advertising. There's online booking and scheduling, as well as the ability to collect more patient health information before appointments. Okay, so this is a big way to streamline this workflow and reduce the amount of time it actually takes to provide these services. Patients can actually share this information and plans with other healthcare providers through the app as well, so ensuring continuity of care. We are uniquely positioned as we are the only platform that's focused on pharmacy services and patient-facing. We are situated between 3 major segments that are rapidly growing: pharmacy management, patient engagement, and value-based care. We are targeting independent pharmacies throughout North America. We've identified 80,000 pharmacies, representing an annual recurring revenue of $288 million. David, I didn't say ARR. Initially, we will be getting revenue through tiered subscription models, starting at $300 a month. Looking long term, we plan to partner with insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, and government agencies wanting to track health outcomes as our healthcare models shift towards value-based care. We are currently finalizing the user testing with our prototype, and will be fully finished development by the end of the summer. We have 3 paid pilots ready to go in September, located in Alberta and Ontario, and we plan to fully launch by January 2019. I've been a practicing pharmacist for over 6 years and have held positions as a manager as well as different leadership positions. I've also completed and published research both locally and globally in the role of pharmacists in preventative care. Ahmed is a COO, and he's worked with multiple health tech startups. Most recently, he worked for a health tech startup in Boston and took a pre-revenue company to being cash flow positive in over a year, just over a year. We have 2 key advisors to help us both on the clinical side as well as product market fit. We are currently in the process of partnering with another advisor to help us build out the solution, and as well as deep connections in the pharmacy space as well. So we are looking for introductions to interested partners, potential candidates to build out our team, mentorship and advice, and of course, your vote, the most important thing. Thanks guys, that was a good one. And we are WellPoints, we are changing the way pharmacists practice care. Thank you.
It just